makes the most sense to start in the screen printing room, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that's kind of where everything happens. So
Okay, awesome.
Give you a quick tour. It's we're in like production mode right now, so things are all over the place. This is where I spend most of my time, like especially during like production time. I screen print a lot of stuff here. Nice. This sweater has like 4 different colors. So there's the gray, the black, the white, and the blue. So the way the screen printing works, each screen it's its own layer. So this is like one layer. So step 1's usually just getting the first graphic down, and then.
Oh, so the ink is like stays tacky for a while. It doesn't have to be. Yeah. So
this ink doesn't dry until you heat it to 320 degrees.
That's awesome.
That's like under that. And I have like a heat gun that tells me the temperature level. So this part's like very satisfying because you see the ink like going right through. So that's the first layer. Like it looks very light. Sometimes I'll do like a second layer, so it's like perfect white. But I like the distressing of just the text and stuff. We do a lot of pop-ups, and we try to like incorporate some element of audience like doing it themselves. It kind of makes it, I don't know, like build a community around that. Just like everyone coming in and having like hands-on and like leaving with something that they made. It just feels so nice.
Yeah, and especially stuff that requires kind of like sizable equipment. I mean, I've seen the small like screen printing, like the pressed ones, but yeah, something that requires like big equipment and people get to just do things, with their hands instead of digital life all the time. Okay.
So you just grab it with both hands. So the first portion is called flooding the screen.
Okay.
So you're just dragging the ink with a little more pressure and at an angle.
Okay.
Probably closer to like 80 degrees.
Okay.
So like right there. Yeah, you got it.
Nice. Aha, yeah, I'm like dipping it.
Here. And then I'll just push it back at like 45 with a lot of pressure. And this part's called clearing the screen. So you want to clear all the ink to that one side.
The little screaming sounds.
Yeah, the ASMR. That's perfect.
Nice.
And then you just put this right back here. Yeah. And then it's just like
gorgeous.
right on.
It's so cool because like every step looks legit. You know?
Yeah, so it's just like a bunch of layers because you could just keep going. With this setup, I could do up to like 6 colors, which is intense.
Yeah.
I've probably only done one design that had that much color.
There's a lot of screens over here. I mean, I know you've done tons of designs.
This is like nothing. At our other studio, is just like stacks of like screen accumulated over like probably the past 4 years. All of these are like reusable. So once I'm done, I can just clean the ink, put it back in the container, and then the emulsion, which is like this green part, and then I'll recoat it again and reuse it.
Oh, that's very cool.
But I didn't have the right tools to do that, so I just kept buying new ones. So now I'm just left with so much screens.
Well, shoot, if we ever make something together, it'd be awesome.
Yeah,
we could put one of those screens to use.
Screen printing is all just like pressure and like angles. Black's usually like the easiest to print.
Nice.
Like that looks really good. And then we'll do the red right on top. Pretty simple process, but the coating, the washing, the burning, the designs, all of that's like kind of what's tricky. It's all done in the darkroom. The last layer, and this is like really hot sometimes. I've burnt so many shirts.
Oh, no.
Like, or I'll get like sidetracked, and you can kind of just see right here, like if you see over the screen, like it just matches right on.
Oh, nice.
And this stick right here, it's like sometime when design don't match right away, I can just move things around. All of these are like functionable that way.
Yeah, it's cool that the paint can just kind of sit there. It's like very little waste.
Okay, that should be good. Since this is the final print, I'll just like dry it all the way to like 320 degrees.
So how did you end up coming up with the kind of like butterfly motif and skeletons as well? Because skeletons are kind of a newer thing, right?
The butterfly, actually, happened to me accidental. Like when I was working at Misfits, another company that I started with a couple other friends, I've always thought of like unfinished legacy, like, yo, I want to, like, this is like what I want to pursue. It took me probably like 5 years to fully like take the jump and do this full time. But like throughout that 5 year, especially at the Misfits, I was like, I want to get back. I have the screen printing sitting in my basement. Like I want to get back and start printing again. And at the time it was fall and there was like a bunch of just butterflies flying outside. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I'll print that on a pair of pants. And then I did that same day, like executed on that idea. And I think I posted on it on Instagram and just like captioned it, just talking about like, we all have ideas, but like sometimes it's just like about pursuing that idea right away. And then the post ended up doing really well. Everyone was like into it and like in a way like it just forced me to like kind of run with it for a little bit. And then over time it just kind of became meaningful to me because butterfly is a symbol of like migration. And then there's the transformation phase, which kind of everyone could relate with. That the third one, the butterflies can't see their wings, so they can't see how like beautiful they are, but everybody else can. And that's something that I personally like throughout high school or like when I first moved here, like I had such a hard time like seeing my value as an artist and like valuing my work. But everybody else was like, oh, you're talented, you could be this, it could be that, but I never saw that. So that's like my personal like tie to the butterfly. So now we've kind of just like incorporated it in a lot of like designs.
That's an amazing origin story. And just that whole storyline of, you know, having an idea and just doing it, like not making up excuses, XYZ, why you can't do it. Just like, why not just like make it happen? And then little by little, all these other things unfold just from little yeses.
Definitely. I was watching a video about like becoming a professional artist. The only difference between a professional artist and an amateur artist is amateur wait for inspiration, whereas in like the professional just knows that once you start doing, the inspiration comes. Once you're in motion, all the like new ideas come. Yeah, exactly. And that just kind of put a lot of things to perspective for me as far as like pursuing ideas and not just sitting and waiting around, you know. People always try to wait for it's like, I need a whole business plan, I need like my stuff trademarked, I need this and that. Like, no, you don't. Like, you just like start and all of that will just figure itself out later, you know. Like, even like now, like there's a lot of things that I could have waited until I had, even like finding an accountant or like an attorney, like all of that, like took me like a couple of years to get to that point. If I waited to have all of that in place before I started out, I would have probably still been at, you know, level 0. Like,
yeah. And then without any of the like hype and the people and the
the community
building
around,
the community in the middle of it all.
This is like our small little studio. We were just like shooting a model here with some of the pieces.
Yeah, it's great that there's all this character in the building that you can kind of leverage and shoot some stuff.
Yeah, we make everything work. And this is like,
wonder if we could get a motorcycle into the building.
This is where we shoot our product. Yeah, you could definitely. There's what is it called? Elevator. It's like an industrial
like a freight elevator. Yeah.
And we shoot all our products like literally right on the floor here.
Nice.
Just like with these boards.
Movie magic.
Like, and then we crop everything out. It's like no one would never know. Actually, one of my favorite elements. This is like my friend, I don't know where he got this light from. I think there was like a light pole that got knocked down or something and he just grabbed it.
Oh my gosh, that's really good.
It's a nice addition to the studio.
Oh, hell yeah.
We'll like put plants around it and whenever we have open studio, people like take photos with them. And then here's where we do all of our shipping. It's quite a mess right now. We're doing a lot of shipping yesterday.
Yeah, you guys are getting a lot of volume, aren't you?
So yeah, we're trying to just like honestly just keep the momentum going. There's like so much that we're learning too, that as far as like, I remember the first time I got like a lot of orders, I was writing every name down and like the addresses and then slowly That's
I remember
the same,
seeing you at the post office.
same thing we were talking about like just not needing to figure everything out.
Oh yeah,
you know,
like people buy the printer, they buy this, they buy that.
Exactly. Like I didn't even know you could buy a printer that could print all the labels. Like that literally could print 100 of labels in like a couple minutes.
Yep. I just got one of those a couple months ago. I was like, wow, where have I been my whole life without a thermal printer?
All these like little things that we figured out like along the way.
And being a self-starter, once you come up upon a problem, you just search how to solve it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't just like let it stop you. I think a lot of people wait for permission. They're like, oh, but I don't know how to do fulfillment. You're like,
yeah,
you're going to figure it out.
Exactly. And that's kind of the model here, just figuring things out as we go. And whatever works for us, we'll keep. Whatever doesn't work, we'll try something else.
Yeah.
I try to delegate, and that's something that I also like had to learn too, like throughout this whole process. Like I don't need to do everything by myself. Like I could delegate like video work to Michael, like some photo work to him, and then I could try to focus on like the next steps or like just future stuff so that the company is still like growing and not like stagnant. And like if I were to put my hand in everything, we'd definitely like be stagnant. Having a team that you trust is it's very important. Whatever department that they're at, they could do it to the best of their ability. Like that's so important.
I also kind of wanted to talk about your background in photography. Now I'm seeing like some of the, because that was up at St. Kate's Art Hotel, wasn't it?
There was a period where I just like got really heavily into photography and just I think just photographing and took a break with the brand. But the reason I picked up a camera was because of the brand. I wanted to shoot my own products and stuff. That's where I first picked up a camera. I started out with like a film camera. I actually have it in my office. And then from there, just like became obsessed with photography, with the whole like Instagram movement. It's one of those skills that I'm very like fortunate to like have acquired over the past years, because now I could, with my brand's like direction, I could apply a lot of like that visual, that element into my brand stuff. My camera of choice is a lot of like film photography, and that's kind of the aesthetic that we try to carry with our whole like brand image. Just kind of like timeless colors and yeah, imageries. I also just bike to work sometimes.
Oh, perfect. Today was a good day for it.
Yeah, it was just beautiful. Yeah, this was my first camera. I won this at an art gallery. It was a $2 raffle ticket.
Oh my gosh.
And I entered and I ended up like winning it. So
gorgeous.
That's kind of where my photography started, like just film photography. And now I'm kind of obsessed with just buying film cameras. Definitely like forces us to like be in the moment, living in the moment. Even like with our pop-ups, we'll shoot majority of stuff in film and we'll just get it like a couple of days later. And this is probably one of my favorite portraits. It's kind of talking like looking down.
For sure. Wow, it's so cool.
Yeah, and it's some of like my books. Whenever I travel, I try to come back with books. I went to New York probably twice the last year, so and I always just come back with so much books that it's like my luggage is heavy. Brutal. Yeah. But it's worth it. We like to find a lot of inspiration from things that aren't digital, just because I feel like everyone my age is getting their inspiration from like a digital platform. Yeah. So it's like a little cool to like separate myself from that. We're like constantly like trying to like find our own aesthetic and like what element that like make us unique and stuff like that. And physical is definitely like a part of it, like doing everything with hand and appreciating all the older like things, like books, just all the physical things, you know?
Yeah,
it's like
tactile world.